Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar presented by First Digital, a First Technology company. Welcome, everybody, to the webinar we will be presenting today, AI-powered process automation with Nintex. With me today presenting is Eckhart Meyer. My name is Jacques Coetzee. I'm a senior manager within First Digital. And Eckhart, who we're doing the demo for us today, is the technical manager in our automation business unit. In today's session, we are going to look at AI-powered process automation, specifically using the Nintex stack that is available. Now, as I'm sure most of you are aware, and partly why you are in today's webinar here with us, is that AI is rapidly taking over various aspects of our daily lives. All of you have heard the AI buzzwords, the AI technologies, if it's ChatGPT or it's Microsoft Copilot or it's large language models or it's machine learning. All of this ties into AI rapidly taking over not just our daily lives, but our business processes, our business tasks, stuff we do on a daily basis. It's evident by the fact that large organizations like Microsoft, NVIDIA, AWS, Huawei, all of them are investing a lot of time, R&D, technology into AI and what can be done with AI. And for today's webinar, we just want to focus on how can AI help us power our business processes or enhance business process automation with the use of Nintex. So before I get to handing over and we actually looking at what is possible within Nintex and what is possible with AI and Nintex, allow me just to introduce First Digital as a company. So First Digital is made up of 4 business pillars and specific key focus areas. We have our innovation division that focus primarily on your .NET or Microsoft type of development, your solution builders, whether it be mobile applications, websites, business solutions. Then we have our automation division, which we are presenting here today, that focuses on business process automation using platforms like Nintex and K2 and OutSystems and BizTalk. And just to mention, we are the largest technical certified partner on Nintex in the world based on headcount. So we've got the most certified individuals in the Nintex stack. And we've got a long-standing relationship with Nintex built over many years. Our other 2 pillars is our digital workplace that focuses on the Microsoft Modern Workplace and Microsoft Power Automate, SharePoint technologies, and then our data and analytics team, as the name would suggest, focusing on data and analytics. So before we get started with today's demo and demonstration that we want to show you, we first have a poll that we'd like to post to the audience. Now, granted, as I mentioned, AI is already part of our daily lives. How much have you made use of artificial intelligence to assist you with your day-to-day business tasks, specifically around tasks that you have to do in your workplace or online in your business on a daily basis? As we can see, the results are sometimes people are starting to use AI. In our company, we're seeing it with Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and with GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT especially, particularly because we build solutions, so it does help a lot. Some, very few say always, and often, and about 30% of our audience say they've never used AI in their day-to-day business task. Given what we're seeing in the market, given what we're seeing with our own internal research, we are leaning more towards the second option you see often is what the future will entail. We will often be making use of artificial intelligence on a day-to-day basis to assist us with day-to-day business tasks, or even more advanced building business solutions. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Eckhart, who will be showcasing how we can use artificial intelligence in the business process automation space. Eckhart, thank you very much. I'm going to hand it to you.
Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Perfect, Eckhart. We can see and hear you.
All right. So good day. Essentially, what do all businesses want? Businesses want to basically reduce operational costs and improve profitability. So how do we do that? We basically try to minimize human errors. We want to collect data efficiently and accurately. We want to boost employee productivity, efficiency, and satisfaction. We want to scale the business without increasing the headcount. And we want to improve human collaboration and system connectivity. With the onset of AI, addressing all of this becomes more confusing, but also it can really offer a seamless customer experience. And at the end of the all, you want to reduce your risk and increase your governance and compliance. So I'm going to just give a quick overview of the Nintex Process Platform. So the Nintex Process Platform is your toolbox for a connected and efficient business environment. The platform is designed to evolve alongside your business needs, making it both comprehensive and user-friendly. In the discover phase, it's all about clarity and identification. Here you will pinpoint which tasks and processes can benefit from a digital makeover. With our tools, you'll model and map your business process, laying the groundwork for seamless management, collaboration, and continuous process improvement. So moving to the automate part, that is more the exciting part. That is where the transformation happens. Here you create custom applications, both mobile and for web, and create custom apps to handle business tasks, orchestrate workflows, and let robotic process automation take the wheel on repetitive tasks. Plus, the document automation simplifies creation and signing to the click of a button. And finally, we have the optimization phase. It is time to refine and enhance the platform, provide you with critical insights, allowing you to continually improve and fine-tune your operations for peak performance. At the core of it all, you have a shared platform built on the pillars of superior user experience and robust security. Connectivity is, of course, key. So we've ensured seamless integration with connectors, plugins, and extensions. So once you've built your process and maps, model maps, as I will show you in the upcoming demos, we can convert using it with Nintex AI tools into a real workflow implementation. So let's quickly recap the key capabilities on the cloud and on-premise platforms that are available on Nintex. Is to allow you to build digital forms and mobile applications. It allows you to model your workflow automation. You can create RPA bots for the really repetitive task. You can use connectors and extensions, build your own extensions to connect to your various silos or external silos driving your business. Then you can automate document creation like contracts and invoices, send the documents for cryptographically secure signatures, and then for compliance, you can track the workflows throughout their life cycle and uncover bottlenecks and process inefficiencies to continuously improve the process. But where does AI fit in? So AI makes process more easy. So using generative AI to operate and deliver process automation faster, that is essentially key. So we've been making process discovery and mapping easy, but today we'd like to share some of the latest innovations. The advent of AI is making big waves in all of the world, and digital transformation is no exception. It's truly revolutionary, and in the last 12 months, innovation in AI have made huge leaps forward. Nintex has been rolling out AI-enhanced features over the last few months and have exciting roadmap of genuinely innovative and time-saving features to come. First up, we obviously have the PDF form converter. So traditionally in an organization, I want to model an application, but I don't have a UX. I've got a couple of documents, and how do I model these quite quickly? That is where the PDF form converter comes in. Have a look at the document and it generates a form for you. Essentially, you can take PDFs, Word documents, and scanned paper forms and convert them into real digital forms with rules and validations ready to start Nintex workflows. It offers a real boost into working through the massive backlog of legacy forms so many companies are struggling with. So essentially, you're squashing your backlog and you're using your workforce or consultants to basically get work done. In some areas, you're starting from scratch and there's no existing form to work with, but you do have an overall idea how you want to build the form, but you don't have any formal UX development experience. Then you can use the generative AI from Nintex to basically build forms by issuing a prompt like, please create me a leave request form to capture employee holiday request, and the AI will do the rest. And in the forms generator, as I will show in the demo later, then you can really tweak these applications. Finally, we have a AI translator that can automatically translate to over 100 languages. And because you shouldn't trust AI blindly, each of the translations can be checked and marked as being reviewed before you publish the form to your users. Before I jump into the demo, let's do another quick poll. Right, while you guys are filling in this poll, what is the efficiency that we could utilize in AI and in business process management? So those options on there, it can really give you a lot of options. So you can start with process discovery, where you decide what does your process look like, how do you model it? That is one way to use AI. The other option is to use and reach out to generative AI languages, for instance, to interpret invoices. And that is, I want to talk a little bit to that example or that scenario. Imagine your organization receives thousands of invoices from customers and you require to process these. So if you have one or two invoices, then you could probably utilize RPA to automate these repetitive tasks. And you would normally rely on business human capital or consultants to augment these RPA bots. That is all fine and well if you have only a couple of customers. Consider you having an organization with hundreds or thousands of customers, and all these customers are evolving. They're changing their invoices, and the invoices that you received before, how do you map the data? How do you extract the data? So what happens with a subset when a subset of users change the layout of the invoices? This is a perfect storm where you could actually use the Nintex platform to say, use the extensions and the connectors to bring in external AI services that can be retrained if necessary to continue producing these results. So as we can see, the Nintex platform provides all the necessary capabilities to allow you as an organization to scale and be agile quite fast. So I'm going to jump into the demo. First of all, we're just going to have a look at, we have a digital form. We want to basically build a workflow, and the user is gonna we're gonna take a PDF form and we're gonna model an input screen, and then during the approval process, we're gonna just use natural language to generate the approval form. Just gonna quickly switch over to my other screen. Just confirm if you guys can see my screen. All good. All right, so we in the first in the workflow cloud tenant, and on the start event, I'm going to generate a form, and this form is essentially going to be a PDF document, and I'm going to import a form, import a PDF, and then I'm going to basically take that form and generate it from there. So what we can do is we can select the criteria that we want. All right, so it did recognize, for instance, the date fields. It did recognize, for instance, value fields. But let's go and let's quickly build this form and make sure that we make it look at least decent and pretty. So what we can do is we want to, that is a label. So I'm just going to click on all the labels that I need in this form. And for the items that I don't want labels, I want to have long text fields. That would be my project description, my justification, and for my department, I think I'm going to use a choice field. So for the department, I'm just going to click on there, and as we can see, it generates the form on the side. So now we've got actually a form that looks more or less like something that we could use. So let's continue and finish in the form designer. So now the form is basically put onto the design canvas. From here on, we can basically tweak it a little bit. So I'm just going to make some changes on this form, and I'm just going to add these, so you can really play around with this and generate without minimal. We can add some validations on these forms. And this is a request a field, so I'll request a name. We just need to mark them as we're not quite happy with the layout. One thing to note is that if you're dealing with grids and those type scenarios where you have fairly complicated layouts like invoice line items, you could start injecting these repeating sections. That is something that will be available, becoming available later in the in subsequent releases. But for now, I think this is a fairly easy form to build, and with minimal effort, we can basically hard coding these values right now, but you could actually use Nintex in the Nintex tool and the drop downs to bind it to some data. So here we did pick up, it is a value, a text field, but we want to just convert it to a value field. So what we could do here is we could say, you know what, we want to change this to from a text field to a currency field. So what we can still do is we want to convert it, or we can just remove it and add a currency field in here. The alignment right. We obviously want this in South African rand. Hence the text box is so long. And the justification, we can also mark it as required. This data will then be captured back into the form upon submission, and we can really build fast forms. One question that might pop up is, what happens to my form if the company decides to change the style? So these forms are built, and you can embed your company's URL in here. It's using stock standard CSS, and it's quite easy to get these forms quite mobile responsive, and that they render properly in modern browsers. Okay, so that was the part of generating the form from a PDF document. So I'm just going to apply the changes. So we can see these are all the fields that we're capturing. It's stored as part of the form. And now we've got that form. So the next step, what we want to do is we want to essentially build this using the approval step. I want to have a task approval, and I want to assign it to a couple of users. And I want to have it one at a time, first respondent. This can be data driven. I'm just going to basically put in my details in here. I want to do that. There's a subject. All right, now we want to basically build this form and use natural language to basically build this. Switching back here. So I'm going to say design a form. All right. Already picked up the outcome, but I want to start with AI. So I want to basically build this. I'm just going to end this quickly. there we can see we basically built a form with minimal effort. So obviously, if we want to tweak it, this is the standard layout, and we're just going to continue and obviously tweak it to our liking and convert these forms. We obviously want the justifications a little bit longer. Again, same principle applies. You can really build a lot of forms quite quickly. So I'm just going to switch this over. Estimated project field. And then obviously we want to map these. Since this is an approval form, we can create different pages. So request details page, and we can add a new page called review. So in the review section, we just want to put in the workflow outcome. And maybe we need to just have a comment that we want to put with the review to say, you know what, why we're going to basically review it, decline it, accept it. I'm just going to put in here a text field. And we can make that required and play around with her. And as we can see now, we've got the capital expenditure form. We could actually just remove that label. We'll just make that label smaller. Right. And we want to include the data that we captured. And these are then the form variables where we say, this is obviously the project name. And we can mark it then as, we don't necessarily want the approvers to change these values, but we want to send it and approve it. So we go to that, to the form variable, project description. Read only, is the name, we do the same thing. It obviously detects it by type. So it makes it also more intuitive and easy to map these. Project costs. Yeah, can map that also to that right field. So our form does look correct. So we could actually now go and apply the changes. We could publish it and say we've got a audit part. And we can have a field, the version process, version the process. And as we keep on tweaking this, this entire form is built, and that is how we use AI to generate our input forms and our approval forms. So if we're going to open up this form, we can essentially interact with this form. And that is how we use AI to basically make it easier to prototype much faster. So in the Nintex platform, we can start off with a discovery phase and then do the workflow. We can build the forms, and then at the end of the day, we can also connect to AI services, online services, and then also use the data that is generated by the workflow engine to start utilizing analytics. Right. That is from my side, the demo. Back to Shoal.
Awesome, Eckhart. Thank you very much for showcasing the capabilities that we do have within Nintex and AI processing. Just to recap, what Eckhart essentially did there was a simple uploading of a PDF, and using generative AI, Nintex was able to read the PDF and then create your form for you. Now, as is the case with most of these techniques, and you'll see what Eckhart did was, it'll generate the form for you as it sees the PDF. But generally, there's here and there's business rules that might need to apply, or forms might need to be marked as required or not required. And that's then simple updates you make, and your form is done. It cuts down the development time massively. And then the second part that Eckhart showcased there was through natural language processing, or the natural language model. I can simply tell Nintex, please give me a form that has the following fields available, as this button, that, just by talking essentially to the software, and it uses the language processing to then build you your Nintex form. It is quite powerful, and it speeds up the development time massively that you might have on these type of solutions. Thank you very much for showcasing that, Eckhart. That brings us to the last part of our webinar, the Q&A section, where we will answer any of the questions that was posted during the webinar, or any questions that you might still have. So Eckhart, one of the first questions we do have here is this only available on Nintex Automation Cloud that you just showcased, or will it be available on premise as well?
So currently it's available on the Nintex Automation Cloud only. These services, remember we elaborated also to the services that you can embed. The real power comes in where you want to infer and reach out to other services, and Nintex Automation on-prem and on cloud do have these connectors. So if you want to use Google's AI, document.ai service, essentially it's a REST service, and you want to post a document to it, that is where you can basically embed and connect the services out. But the generating the PDF forms and from PDF forms and using the natural language, essentially that is only available right now in the Nintex Automation Cloud.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Eckhart. And to add on that, this is fairly new capabilities that Nintex is making available. And it will continue to roll out, I'm pretty sure, more AI-powered features and functionality will be made available on all of the different Nintex tools um, pretty soon. To add on that question, the availability and timelines on that, we are not 100% sure. Nintex has stated that they will make more details available in due time, but I'm sure it's going to be rolled out pretty quick due to the rapid nature of the technology and its adoption. Eckhart, another question we have here. You showcased a normal PDF, essentially a printed out page there. Will it work with a form that was hand designed on a blank A4 piece of paper and then uploaded as a PDF? So if I've essentially draw out the solution that I want and if I can upload it, do we know if that would work?
That would work. But that also can be utilized with other services available. That is moving into the realm of ICR, OCR, character recognition. So for instance, you could generate from Word documents that you receive from emails. Complex forms are a challenge. But one of the nice features about the connectivity in the Nintex platform is if you think about the approval steps, if you see a value, you can actually build an AI engine to do fraud detection, for instance. You can upload and receive a document. You can interpret that result without sending it to a user. So you can interpret the result and then come back with a result to say, you know what, in this decision step, if the request is more than like R1 million or whatever the case might be, you can actually use AI to go have a look and reach out to services. But importing forms from designs essentially start off with a PDF document or a Word document, but the PDF document can be also hand drawn, and it recognizes text fields. Lists, like I stated before, is a little bit of a challenge if you think about your traditional invoices. But with some work, you can actually use the repeater section and quite get up to speed quite fast.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you for that input or information, Eckhart. As someone who does like to draw out things, that will be quite a nice feature that I can simply draw out a form and upload it. That's great. Eckhart, another question we've got here is, will you guys, Wolfers Digital, be able to do a QC on a process that they are planning to launch in the next few days?
QC being just clarify that for me, Joel.
Quality check, quick check, or look at the overview or implementation of a process that is being planned on being launched.
Yes. And that is one of the services that we do offer. So we can assist you if you've got a grand scheme, if you've got very big and complicated processes. That is what we can assist with. Building fairly straightforward processes. If you don't do it right, it can become essentially a challenge over time. The key being with processes, you need to understand what you want, what bottlenecks do you want to essentially monitor. And there's a various tools that you can use for that. We can do process discovery, whereby we can put down agents and monitor your undocumented processes. And then we can take those processes and model them and export them into Nintex Workflow Cloud, and then do the whole circle right back to the analytics to say, now we have got task information. Now we can mine the bottlenecks to see why are deliveries late. For instance, in a warehouse, we know there are deliveries, but we don't always understand why a delivery is late. And that detail is the process discovery won't necessarily pick that up for you. You have to look into the analytics. And for instance, what you can do is you could tap into information to say this delivery actually had to reroute, and have a look at the data that sits on a device and then we can determine, oh, these guys were stuck because of load shedding, or they had to reroute because of roadworks. That is where the difference becomes in between process discovery and where you use the analytics to infer the data to say, all right, we need to do the process optimization. We need to strengthen the process essentially. Yeah, and that is a service that we offer as well.
Yeah, perfect. Do feel free to reach out. Our contact details are on the screen, and again, after the webinar, to all of the attendees, we will send out the details. But do feel free to reach out. Our automation division has an acute focus on business process automation, not only the technical application and automating business processes, but also, as Eckhart mentioned, to unpack that business process, doing some real business process engineering to make sure that it's as efficient and effective as possible. Eckhart, then we've got one last question. We did mention that the Nintex platform is able to automate invoice processing. Maybe we can just provide some more information on that, how the Nintex platform is able and capable to aid with the processing of invoices.
So essentially there you will have to look, there's a plethora of services outside, and that is where the Nintex Nintex doesn't itself process the invoice. So you could essentially have your own data model. If you're a bank, for instance, you can build your own service that handles, for instance, different invoices. So traditionally you would basically use something like Abby to basically build a template, but that is time consuming. So there are AI vendors outside that provide services where you can give them a set of invoices and they can train a model for you. And you simply attach a document into your workflow, you capture that invoice and you send it out to the service and it gives you a response back. And there's a lot of those services, and that is the power of Nintex to reach out to those services. And that is available on-prem as well as in the cloud. Those are the connectors in Nintex that can basically send out this document, get the data back and extract the fields back, and then you can have the document and the result back, and it will match you the output. And those are services that you can simply bolt onto your process. So you don't have to essentially build everything yourself. You can move much more faster and much more agile.
Yes, very true. And not even withstanding the other options available within the Nintex platform, from process mapping to robotic process automation to Nintex automation cloud that we've seen today, that can all aid in automating any type of process, but especially invoice process. Okay, I don't believe we do have any other questions. So I want to thank everybody again for joining today's session. It will be made available on our YouTube channel, so you can go back to review it. And all of our other webinars are also available there if you would like to have a look at any of the other solutions or technologies that we've spoken of before. Thank you very much, everybody. Please feel free to contact us should you have any questions post this webinar.